I think it might actually work. It might work. Peter, are you with me?
Indeed.
Ah, there he is. Unbelievable.
Last time I saw you, wasn't it Mexico? Or was it after?
Yeah, no, you might be right. I can't keep track anymore.
Yeah, it's when I pretended to steal all of your chocolate.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this motherfucker stealing my chocolates. It's also when you put me through this grueling workout that was insane. And my legs hurt for like 4 days, and they were like, why did you do this? But it was okay. It's nice.
It's only 7 minutes. Pete's famous 7-minute leg workout.
Oh, it was brutal. It was brutal. So I guess I'll do a slightly further intro, and then I'm gonna talk about what I'm excited about, and I'm gonna ask you what you're excited about, and I'm just gonna let you rant and share some of that Peter Sage awesomeness that you're kind of famous for at this point at Infinite Man events, and then we'll just have a little wee chat. It'll be fun.
Sounds good to me. Hit it.
Yes. So good. So yeah, man. So for me, the thing I love about you the most is that you're really coming from that place of service. That's what really hits me about you the most. It's like you're really here to empower people to be the highest version of themselves. And it's really obvious, you know, when you're in a room, whether you're speaking or you're at a dinner, it doesn't matter. You're always doing the same thing. In a way, it's almost boring. You're trying to help everyone all the time in an authentic way. What the hell's that all about, Pete? Boring. Peter Sage trying to help everybody be awesome all the time, you know. But it's amazing. You're really just in that space. And so what I've been finding is the more I do the work on myself, and the more I really focus on getting over, you know, all that bullshit, negative beliefs, negative thoughts, any traumas, all the shit that all of us humans have, the more I get to that space of just really like, who am I when all of that crap is out of the way? And I really start following the excitement that I've got going on in here, right, in my heart. Wow, life it starts going super speed. You start meeting the most amazing people, the most amazing opportunities. Everything seems to flow if you're coming from that space of really, really sharing your gift in the world. And that's what's got me so excited. That's going to be the theme of the next Infinite Man event. Doing the work, getting deeper, and really discovering like what is the deepest passion that you're here to share with the world. And I'm just in a place where like it's just so the most important thing, you know. Everybody's got ideas of like, oh, I want to make more money, or I want to get a girlfriend, or I want to get this, you know, whatever, all these things. I want to be more popular, I want to get more Instagram likes, all these things that we think are going to make us happy. But it's like we're not really in the world being ourselves if we don't have our purpose, if we're not really giving our gift authentically to the world. It's always like we're looking for some outside source of happiness, but the only source of happiness is being fully who we are, being fully what we came here to be. That's the only thing that at this point that I even want to talk about, because it's just, life is just so good when you're in that space. So that being said, you're kind of a specialist in helping people get to that place, but also then go start a business that allows them to have that lifestyle of freedom where they can go, you know, be where they want to be and make money, bringing their gift to the world. So I'm very excited, not only that you're speaking Infinite Man, that you're going to be doing a business event. I'll also be there hanging out and speaking. So give some, fuck it. I'm just going to stop talking and roll it over to you because I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, there, cool. Well, thank you, Sash. I mean, always a pleasure to hang out, brother. I mean, yeah, 1 + 1 is 11 when you get the right kind of frequency, and that's why I love hanging out with you, because you become, and therefore people is everything. And I'm excited to, we've got a dozen people on the call here as well, so I want to add some value to those and really sort of like dial in and let's have some takeaway stuff here. But just tuning into what you were saying earlier about life flows when you're in the spirit of service. You see, the way that the game is set up, in my experience, has built-in feedback. If you start being mean, if you start being selfish, if you're coming from a place of ego, if you think that life is a comfort-centric experience, then life is going to, by the very nature of the rule set on how this intelligence is put together, will give you feedback with what we would call learning opportunities. If you're trying to flow with the river of life and you're swimming upstream, you get feedback. It's called lactic acid, no progress, and being exhausted. Whereas if you surrender to the wisdom of the current, you start flowing with the current, and instead of trying to fight the current, you put your energy into being able to position yourself better with the current, then you move further along. See, it's built-in feedback. It's this is a universe of laws that are intelligent. So the first day where people grow up emotionally is really the day well, the first day is the day that, where they achieve social freedom, something you talk a lot about, where they finally become okay not being liked. But that allows them to access authenticity, which prior to that is being blocked because they're trying to appear a particular way in order to fit what they perceive to be somebody else's pictures, to get them approval, recognition, give me a hug, all that kind of crap. That should get by osmosis through not needing it. So that's the first part. But the major place where people wake up is when they realize that life is not a comfort-centric experience. It is a growth-centric experience. And in order to grow, we got to do the work. There is a very simple parallel between the physical and the non-physical. Take the physical. How do we grow muscles? We go to the gym, we lift weights. Is it comfortable when you're on that last burning rep? No, of course it doesn't. But you can be excited doing that last burning rep because you're heading into competition. You want to be able to go lift the treasure that's awaiting you at the end of your goal. So it's all about being able to recontextualize that. When we get the workout in life that a lot of unenlightened people call problems, challenges, bends in the river, and all of that, a lot of the time people resist. Oh, life's trying to fight me. Oh, life's, why me? And all this kind of BS. It's because they simply don't have an empowering context for understanding that life is a growth-centric experience. And what's the hardest growth to do? It's not lifting weights in the gym. It's not being able to do anything other than look in the mirror and focus on you. It's not, I've got to grow by going and getting my MBA in a university and I'll study for 16 hours a night to get a piece of paper signed by somebody I've never met to validate my intelligence. No, that's not the way to do it. The hardest work, in fact, go to Descartes. He said, the hardest thing a human being can do is to think. Some fear it more than death itself. So in order for you to look in the mirror and do the work, the real work, it takes courage to apologize when you feel that you're right. It takes work on yourself to fix a broken relationship rather than blame the other person and go have the same relationship with somebody else because you haven't learned your lessons. It takes courage and work to sit there and say, okay, what are the fears that I need to outgrow? What are the fears that are showing up constantly in my life as patterns of limitation that I really need to be able to walk through the door of my, with my conscious awareness and into the shadow part and really do some digging? See, that isn't easy. It's always easier to walk to the fridge and grab a Budweiser and turn on the TV and go get some stupid post on Instagram that you can validate you think people think that you're smart about, than it is to sit there and say, whoa, you mean I've got to pick up the phone and talk to my dad, that asshole that used to hit me with a belt that I've not talked to for 14 years? Oh, yeah, that's the kind of work I'm talking about. And when people start lining up with that, with a willingness, then the universe starts making the doors that you open a lot easier than having to shoulder barge it into the direction you think you want to go rather than follow the path where the key has already been unlocked for you. But it requires the work. Did I mention it was required work? I think you mentioned it required work. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, it requires work.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I was just on a train from Munich to Budapest where I am. And there was this dude sitting there in front of me. And he was just a normal German guy. He worked in finance. He had all these magazines about finance and stuff. And I asked him, I was just chatting to him, and I just, it's almost like a disease I have, Pete. I have to help people, or at least try and just ask little questions to see where they're at, if I can maybe drop them a little nugget to kind of better their life. It's a sickness, Pete. Even when I try not to do it, I can't help myself. I'm a sick man. Sometimes it gets me into trouble. But so all I did was ask. I just said, hey, bro, just curious, what aspect of your personal development, are you focusing on currently? And he just went,
you bad man.
he had no file for it. He had no file for it. And this is what his answer. He just went, well, I took some time to travel and spent some time with my dad, and then he passed away. So that was good. It's good that I did that. And I was like, yeah, that's good that you did that.
Unfortunately, so many people don't have a reference for being able to wake up. And that's why what I call is the default mentality for so many people that are walking around unconscious, that they're sleeping awake. And therefore they're on autopilot. They're in a complete reactive. They're a film extra in their own movie.
Survival.
Well, survival is the feedback mechanism that basically is delivered from life that withdraws abundance from you. It withdraws joy. It withdraws fulfillment because you're not doing anything in alignment to contribute part of who you are into the system. If you've got everybody on welfare and nobody paying taxes, and it's a separate conversation, but stick with the metaphor, right? Then society breaks down under its current model, right? Whereas, if you're contributing more than you take, life is going to reward you at some level. If you're in a business, you don't survive in business by taking what you can from your customers at the expense of giving the least in return. That doesn't work. See, entrepreneurs know that. And if they don't understand it, they die quickly. It's the commercial imperative, right? So, when it comes to understanding that who you are as a high conscious being, Sasha, and we've spent a lot of time together over the last couple of years. I'm really grateful to have you in my life. And I understand that's part of your gift. The challenge is for some people that wanting to help people isn't coming from a place of authentic expression of who they are as a reflection of their level of consciousness. They're doing it in order to try to get reciprocation because they're walking around empty. We call that the martyr pattern. I'm operating at 3 out of 10 on my loveometer, but if I give you one of my 3 points and I go to 2 out of 10, maybe I'll get more than a point back. And that's how so many people work in relationships. And of course, that's a horse trade. It doesn't work, right? You can only give from your overflow. You can only give as a natural expression of who you are without any intention, association, or connection to what you may or may not get by return. See, that's trying to manipulate the game. Oh, I get by giving. Okay, so let me go around giving so I can get. No, that's trying to shortcut the process. Now, you give because it's the right thing to do. You pick up the litter in the park because nobody's watching, because it's the right thing to do, not because somebody's looking at you and you want to score brownie points. That doesn't work. And life is intelligent. We know that because there's a pretty smart rule set that governs why you're not floating around one day and sitting on the ground the next. Gravity doesn't have mood swings, doesn't have PMS, right? Gravity is a consistent part of the rule set. We live in a intelligent rule set driven physical matter reality. Why? Because if not, it'd be a funhouse reality and we wouldn't be able to do anything. Right? So there is an intelligence behind it. And that intelligence doesn't just extend to physical matter reality. It obviously comes from something much more fundamental that supersedes that, a superset, right, which we call consciousness. Bear in mind, consciousness is simply a 13-letter word that the mind has created to try to conceptualize something you can't really conceptualize, but it allows us to try to get a handle on it so we can give meaning to it and have a practical use of the model so that we can try to get benefit. I'm cool with that. But when it comes to understanding that there's an intelligence that set this up, you can't argue with that damn thing. You ever tried making a rose petal? You ever tried walking on water without being a yogi that calibrates at super high consciousness that can transcend the rule set? You sink. Right? So that's every time, not just on Mondays when the moon's in Platinum, Pluto and Saturn. So if we know that there is an intelligence, my point being here, that governs all of what we are engaging in, that seems to be somewhat smarter than us, because I consciously don't have to remind myself 4 a.m. every day to pump my blood around my body. Something smarter than me deals with that. Then maybe that intelligence has other things built in that governs feedback that we should pay attention to. Just like when you're on a freeway, if you go off track, you hit the rumble strip. Brrr, whoa. What do most people say? That's interfering with my music. I've got a chest pain walking upstairs. That's interfering with my ability to walk upstairs. I'll still eat 15 cheeseburgers a week. No. It's called feedback. That rumble strip is important. Pay attention to it. If you're struggling right now, if you're not having the success that you think you deserve, if you're experiencing more emotions on the concept of disempowerment than empowerment, that's okay. If you're depressed, freaking awesome. Why? Depression is a rumble strip. It's not the depression lottery dice got thrown, landed up with your number, and the unhappy cloud comes along and rains on you. That ain't how it works. Depression is simply life saying, hey, dummy, listen up. Right? What you're doing right now isn't working because you're not following the rule set around how the game is set up to win. Oh, you weren't given a rule book? Well, you don't need a rule book. You've got feedback. You're feeling depressed? Stop thinking depressing thoughts. Oh, that's too simple. Well, I can't do that. Why? Because you've got the rule set up saying that I have to have the outer world look a certain way in order to fit the pictures of what my inner world says it should look like before I give myself permission to think happy thoughts. You may want to sit with that one for a while. Don't complicate it. No. Far easier to go to the fridge, get a Budweiser. far easier to go to the medicine cabinet and get a Prozac and blame something, not me, that prevents me from having to do the work and look in the mirror in order to express the gift that I'm born with. Yeah. Did we make any sense there, boys and girls?
Makes a lot of sense to me. I found the more you get in alignment with who you are and you start living your gift and you're really on your path, the feedback is very quick and it doesn't fuck around anymore. And I've been getting this more and more and more. I've got a couple of crazy stories just from the last 2 weeks where I needed to get some feedback. I got it. I got the lesson. And as soon as I got the lesson, the feedback was like, okay, you got it. There's no need for suffering anymore. It's happening at a lightning speed. Literally,
Yeah.
just recently I was just trying to help somebody that I shouldn't have, I was just too much going like, hey, you could really do this and that. And they weren't really ready to receive. And I was because I love the person and I was trying to help them. And guess what happened? I rolled my ankle. I literally got up. I felt my foot was asleep. I think I could step on it. Literally felt flat on my ass. Seriously sprained my wrist. Went around a few days with a sprained wrist. Not wrist, ankle. And once I got the lesson, I really tuned in. I was like, well, why did that happen? Oh, yeah, I was not actually respecting the other person's journey. I was pushing a little bit too hard, and I know that's not the right way to go about it. And I was like, okay, I got it. Thanks for the sprained ankle. And literally, when I really tuned in and went, thanks, I got it, within 24 hours, it got so much better. And now it's just healing in super fast because it was a lesson. It was like a wake up. Wake up, you're not supposed to be doing this. And I got it.
Absolutely.
It's happening all the time like this. Whenever I'm off course, I have a even crazier one I'll just share because it's fucking insane. There was this house in Ecuador, and I really wanted to buy it, and I wanted to make it a center and have courses and help people and blah, blah, blah. But it was coming from, I love all that, but that particular house, it's because it was a good deal, and it was a really nice view, and it was really the ego that's like, oh, it's such a good deal. I really want to get that house. Wasn't quite the right one for me, but when I heard it was $50,000 off what I wanted to, I was like, holy fuck, it's such a good deal. I'm going to get it. And I literally sent an email to the guy going, hey, is this still available? I really want to get it. And I literally sent the email. I sent the intention yes, universe, I really want to get it. As soon as I set that intention after sending the email, literally, I didn't move. My hip joint literally went sacroiliac, went out of alignment. I couldn't walk for 6 hours. I was literally on the floor, paralyzed, instantly destroyed by the universe because I wasn't supposed to get that property. And so I got it immediately. I was like, okay, I'm not supposed to get that. Healed very quickly. And didn't do it. But literally shit like that, that's ridiculously crazy happens when I do something and I'm not really in tune and I do some stupid shit. I get the smackdown, but I get it and I move on. It's beautiful.
Yeah, dude, it's 100% because here's an important distinction for people. People think, oh, well, if you're in alignment, everything else, obviously the lessons stop. No, they don't stop. They just upgrade. And the higher your level of personal growth, development, and consciousness, the less painful the lessons are. The reason that the lessons have to be painful at lower levels of personal growth is to get your attention, to snap you out of your ego. And I'll give you a great parallel. So if you are a soldier and you join the army and you're in boot camp's a nightmare. You're getting kicked out of bed at 3 a.m. for a surprise PT run, in the dark, uphill, carrying a log. It's all about bullshit and polishing your boots and getting shouted at and all that kind of stuff to whittle out the men from the boys. Now, all of that stuff is what they call standard BS. It's the standard bullshit you have to endure in boot camp. But if you graduate and you do well, and let's say you go to special forces. See, when you're training for special forces, you don't have any of that going on. You're not kicked out of bed at 3 a.m. to have to go for a run. You're expected to maintain your own level of fitness. Now you're learning more advanced stuff. You're learning foreign languages and different weapon drills, etc., and advanced counter warfare techniques. But there's none of the BS required because you've grown out of the need to be able to be bitch slapped around in order to see if you can handle it. So it's the same with us. But the lessons don't stop. But again, what you described there, I'll give you a classic parallel for other people to have a look at. So if you aren't very good at holding a space for somebody, you're impatient, you're intolerant, and you're, again, ego-driven, and you're driving along and somebody cuts you up in traffic, son of a, especially when you're late, and it causes you to miss the lights. And not only that, when they go forward, and you pap your horn, they flip you the bird, right? Now you're really freaking upset. Now, that's going to continue to happen. Why? What is the lesson? The lesson is being able to come from a place of love instead of fear every time in various degrees and saying, you know something, that guy clearly needed the road more than I do. I'm so glad that's not me driving like that, putting other people's lives at risk. You know, he needs some love. Let's send him some. Now, when you get the lesson, which was essentially he was sent to teach you patience, and compassion and tolerance. Once you get that, nobody cuts you up in traffic anymore. But what happens? Very simple. Now you go to the mall and you park your car and you come out and somebody's like backed into the car and not left a note. Son of a, you now risen to the next level. And if you start using that as justification to be a victim and start bitching about it for the next 2 days at work about that MF mofo that pissed you off in the car park, that if you ever find out who it is, then guess what? Somebody else is then going to come along and put a key down your car when you're in a restaurant. It's the same game. As soon as you turn around and say, wow, you know something? I didn't factor that into my cash flow right now, and it's a shame, but I'd much rather own a nice car that gets scratched than not own one and walk around scratching them. How lucky am I? Guess what? Nobody scratches your car anymore. Mm-hmm. Right? But now we move to the next level.
And it really is that. It just gets finer and finer as you go through. So awesome. So let's move it a little bit into, because I've been telling a few people, Peter Sage knows his business stuff. It's going to be fun. So here's a question that comes up a lot, and I've got my own answer for it, but I'd love to hear what you have to say, because people ask me this all the time. A lot of guys, they're out there in the world, and they got bills to pay. They're hustling. They're working some job. It may not be their perfect job, but they're doing what they got to do to eat and pay rent, etc. And a lot of people just don't believe. They just have this belief, and I think it's really comes from society, and it's terrible programming. But they just don't believe that they can do something that they truly love and be supported. They really think, no, it's not possible. There's so many musicians out there. There's no way. And how can I even do it? Because I'm working all the time and blah, blah, blah. So they just don't believe that it's possible. And I can see how it's difficult when you're already in that pattern. Like, you've already got the bills, you've got the apartment, you've got, so you're working your ass off just to make ends meet. And a lot of guys don't even know what their passion is. So what would you say to somebody who's just like, God, I want to find the thing that I love, and I want it, but they just don't believe the universe could support them actually doing that for a living? What would you say to those guys?
You've got to understand, for a start, what money is, because most people don't understand. Yeah. And when you understand that money is nothing more than a byproduct or a consequence of adding value, then you can start to look at it slightly differently, because a lot of people chase money. And I'll tie this back in terms of following your passion in a second. But when it comes to understanding money for what it is, if you are in a place where you think that I want to go get more money, that's not focused on what creates money. See, the last time you received money, the last time that you got money, the last time that anything happened, right, it was because you gave something of value for it first. It could have been 40 hours a week in a job. It could be a product or a service, but it means that you gave something for it first, because money is a byproduct or a consequence of you adding value first, and then someone will equate that in what they perceive to be monetary equivalent and pay that to you. So if you are chasing money, you're chasing your tail. It's sitting in front of a dead fire on a cold night, shivering, saying, give me some heat, then I'll go fetch you some wood. That doesn't work. Go fetch some wood, you'll get the heat. Go add the value, you'll get the money. So if you're sitting there cold and sort of financially in hypothermic right now, it's maybe time to ask the question, how much value am I adding? Right, so that's one side. The other reason is that a lot of people confuse following your passion with following your potential. There's a lot of issues around people say, oh, I just love this, I'm going to go do that. Well, part of that is great, but part of the passion that equates to financial success is found in the following of your potential, which includes stepping out of your comfort zone. So if you're simply purely following your passion, most people's passions are inside their comfort zone, because it's like they confuse comfort and passion together, if you know what I mean. So if you're saying, okay, what am I passionate about that would allow me to fulfill more of my potential? That's where you tend to find a lot of the monetary rewards come in, rather than just say, oh, I'm going to go do what I love. Look behind you, follow your bliss, and the money will be behind you. And people like follow their bliss, look behind, and there's a stack of bills. Right? So understanding how to follow or make the distinction between following your potential versus following your passion, and learning how to combine the two, or rather than say, oh, I'm going to follow my passion. I love doing this. That's all I'm going to do. I'll make money at it. No, because there's no growth in that if it doesn't push you outside of your comfort zone, if it doesn't challenge you, if it doesn't make you take a breath and embrace courage to be able to move forward, to allow the more or better part of you to be able to show up that wasn't there before. Adding value to the world really is about adding more of who you are and your expressions and how you can express yourself to the world. Now, when it comes to why most people are not financially literate, I put a video out on this today. There's really only, financially successful. There's really only 5 reasons. The first reason that most people are not financially successful is because they don't understand money. Now, I know you, Sasha, are brilliant at being able to manage and understand money. And it really comes down to, at the big chunk, and obviously there's 1,000 levels of refinement here, of 2 things. One is, you don't understand it or respect it. And the second, you're chasing money instead of chasing the cause of money, which is adding value, or you're spending more than you earn. You don't know how to manage money. And every rich person who got rich understands that the key to wealth: spend less than you earn and invest the rest. Again, there's 1,000 different levels beneath that, but if you chunk it up, that's pretty much what they're doing. Right, what do most people do? Let's spend more than we earn and pay off the rest with interest so we can never invest. It's not rocket science. Now, the reason they're doing that is because they're sleeping awake and buying into the commercial agendas of everybody that can convince you that if you do spend more than you earn, and if you call in the next 10 minutes, you'll get a special offer and get 2 for the price of 1. And not only that, but we'll do it at reduced interest for the next 6 months. If you do buy into that, it's usually because you're trying to buy your way out of your limitations, because beneath all of the stuff you're trying to buy is the perception that you will feel better with something that you don't currently have. Right? Anyway, so financial literacy is the first reason. The second is lack of opportunity to be able to create wealth, be able to have a business, to be able to have a deal going on, to be able to put something together. But here's the problem. We now live in a time in human history where there's never been more opportunity per second, per capita, than's ever existed before. We're now living in a time where vast majority of the millionaires and billionaires were not born into wealth. That has never happened in human history. We are living in a time of the greatest redistribution of wealth humanity has ever experienced. And what do most people do? Point to people that are wealthy and wish that they were lucky too. Right? Give me a freaking break. What are you going to do when your kids turn around 20 years from now and say, hey, mom, hey, dad, right? When our neighbors who had lived on the same street with the same job, when they decided to get rich by going out and adding value, what were you doing? And there is a massive pie right now, and it isn't a pie-based mentality. It's an infinite pie, right? And what do you need to do to take a piece of the infinite pie? Become an infinite man. Hello, right? So how do you do that? You realize that money is energy. You didn't see the last bit of money that you actually spent on your credit card. It's just energy. It's conceptual. The only place that money exists in the universe is in the mind of a human. Right? Nothing else keeps track of it. It's shiny metal and hard rocks and pieces of paper with dead people on it. So if you realize that when you realize that opportunity is everywhere, the only reason you wouldn't be spotting it is the third reason most people don't get rich, is that you're not ready for the opportunities to present themselves. See, if you're not an entrepreneur, why would you be looking for an opportunity? If you see yourself as somebody who's unlucky, who's somebody who's not good in business, if you see yourself as somebody who's in a dead-end job and who doesn't like his boss, and hopefully one day the magic business fairy will come along and hit you with their wand, Disneyland thinking, then you're never going to see the opportunities. Just like driving to work every day for the last 10 years, and last week your 6-year-old daughter says, Daddy, I want a bike for Christmas, and you're driving down to work and you notice a bike shop. Been there for the last 10 years, but you never noticed it because you weren't ready for it, because your reticular activating system swept it under the awareness of your conscious because it wasn't relevant. How many opportunities are being swept under your conscious right now because you're voting on it not being relevant because you don't see yourself as somebody who's looking for opportunity? Right? So that's the third reason. Fourth reason is you've got an opportunity, you're good with money, you've attracted something, but there's something as an inner block that's stopping you. Showing up as the classic self-sabotage, procrastination, glass ceiling, all of that stuff, spinning your wheels. And that's because you just haven't done the work on releasing the levels of fears that are associated to your level of expectation, worthiness, whether you're ready to have that or not. So your left brain will always justify. That's its job. Are you ready to be a millionaire? Of course I'm ready to be a millionaire. I'm sick of being and sitting in poverty. Yeah, but what is your heart saying? What is your sense of well-being saying? No. There's no congruency there. Right? You're not actually ready to have £1 million. You've never sat down and been owned that at the point where it's done. Right? You don't have to talk about it anymore. It's just going to show up when it's ready, but it's done. No. I want £1 million, but no, when you're ready to have $1 million, sit with that for a second and see where the congruency lies or doesn't, and you'll start to see what I mean. And that's about doing the inner work. Right? What have you got to let go of? What limiting beliefs do you have to let go of or upgrade? Do you have to pick up the phone to your dad you've not spoke to for 10 years and get off the forgiveness thing because you're too busy being angry at the world on the pity pot of life in order to be able to attract stuff that's going to bring you into abundance? And then the last reason is, we've covered financial literacy, we've covered lack of opportunity, we've covered being able to attract the opportunity, we've covered the fact that there's inner work stopping you from executing on the opportunity. If all of that's in place, the final thing that'll stop you from getting rich, very simple, is that you don't have an actual plan in order to execute on the opportunity they've got that you want to move forward with. You just don't have the know-how. And that's the easiest part. It's also the last piece of the puzzle. In the first place, most people try to fix. Yeah. That comes through. So yeah, it's the first thing people try to fix. I'm skint. I'll go take a business opportunity course, or I'll go learn online marketing. Yeah, they haven't done the work on themselves, so they'll learn the skills, but they'll still prevent themselves from executing because the self-sabotage principle is still in place. Yeah, they still haven't learned how to work on themselves to get them out of bed in the morning to be disciplined enough to be able to deal with it. They're still not worthy or ready to have. They still didn't really attract the right opportunity for them because they're not in touch with who they really are as the person that's in line with their growth phase. All of that stuff. So that's really when it comes to going out and creating wealth or following your passion stroke potential, that's probably the best areas you can look at to categorize those 5 things and look in it, because otherwise people are flying blind with no compass and just grab the first thing they think will solve their problem. Make sense?
So good. There's a part that you said for me was the part where I was like, oh yeah, that's the missing piece for people, which was, it's doing things. It's not just do what you love, follow your passion. It's doing the things that will push you out of your comfort zone and have you grow. And so that's the key, because a lot of people, they just want to sit around. What's your passion? Oh, I like playing video games. Okay. But how many people actually are going to be that good where they can make a living at it? Your passion might be sitting around and watching movies and eating popcorn. Is that going to somehow lead to you developing some skill or something that you could actually give value to the world?
How much value does that add? Exactly. How much value are you adding with that when value is the doorway to receiving wealth?
Right. So it's just looking at the things that you love and going, okay, which one of these will be uncomfortable for me to get better at and grow, that will actually help me develop myself, and something that can add value to the world. And then going, okay, let's do that. Fuck the Netflix. Let's go do that thing, even though it's going to be uncomfortable. And it comes down to principle of social freedom. It's all about doing the things that you want to, deep down you want to do, but the ego pops out and goes, oh, that's going to be, I don't know about that. It might be difficult. We might get rejected. We might fail. Yeah, do it anyway. That's your job. That's called personal growth. You know what I mean? So that's a really juicy snippet. And dude, it just hearing you talk about all the stuff, it just makes me so excited about the next Infinite Man Summit, October 25th to 27th. Peter, it's going to be so good. We got amazing people you haven't met yet that are really powerful healers, my soul fam, and they're really going to be going deep, getting people to actually find the blocks, the traumas, all the negative bullshit in their minds. So we're going to be doing that healing work and then pushing people down towards discovering who they really are. And then from that place, making it all come true. The business, the girlfriend, the physical health, all of it, man. It's just like, holy shit. I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited about LA.
Los Angeles, here we come. I will be there with bells on, sunshine.
It's going to be so good. And I hope you actually, because there's going to be breath work. There's going to be a lot of crazy shit going on. I hope you get into it as well.
Dude, I play full out. You know me.
That's true. So I'm super stoked. Tickets are literally just going on sale today. So I believe they're on sale at this very moment, early bird tickets. We already sold like 6 or 7 just yesterday to the pre-list. So, and they go up every 25 tickets, they go up. So if you're watching this right now, you can still get them at the early bird price. So I would encourage you to do so. And I'm also excited because this beautiful man here, he's been having something called the Peter Sage Business School for many, many years, where just amazing people come. And I've watched a little bit of the footage, and it was so inspirational. I watched like 10 minutes and I was like, fucking hell, I really want to go to this. And I couldn't go to the last one because I was in Ecuador and this whole shit. So Pete was like, dude, you can come. You can even share some of your stuff at the last one that's happening very soon in a few weeks in Poland. So I'm going to be there with bells and whistles on. I can't wait. Holy shit, Pete, tell us about this thing. I'm so excited to be there.
Well, it's kind of bittersweet in a way because it is the last one that I'm doing. I've ran this event for the last, probably 10 years around the world, from South Africa to Singapore to Netherlands to London. And it's a transformational event. It's my best work in 3 days, compressed into focusing on transformation. I'm not an information guy. There's more information out there right now that people are getting spun around with and confused. Yeah, people are literally drowning in information, but they're starving for transformation. And so for me, it's a case of, how do I design a 3-day event where people can come, as just like you said, we do the work on you first, because overlaying business strategies and skills over the top of unresolved self-issues around you as an entrepreneur or your ability to execute that has nothing to do with business is like putting a little mini plaster on a broken arm. It's never going to fix the deal. So I engineer 3 days of work. And again, what have we been on here? Less than an hour. And I've tried to get as much as I can in for the people to say thank you for the time they're giving us here. But can you imagine 42 hours over 3 days? Because that's what we do, baby. This is not a typical show up at 9, coffee break at 10:30, lunch at 1, home at 5. I own your ass for 3 days. You're not walking out of there the same person. So the first day we do massively deep transformational work that is just revelatory when it comes to game changing your level of awareness and raising your consciousness. And once we've done that, guess what? We then go day 2 and 3. I teach you the 10 fundamental core competencies of all great entrepreneurs, none of which require any money to learn or execute in your business. And we're talking about financial creativity, how to start a business with no money. I'll walk you through the exact steps required that I built over 20 companies without putting a dime of my own money in, or borrowing, or cash, or credit. Right? There are strategies to understand on how you can do that. And once you get it, it's like, of course, it's obvious. I teach you how to reinvent your relationship to time. See, time management is a misnomer. You can't manage time any more than you can stand on the bank of a river and manage the current. Right? It's moving independent of your wishes, whether you want it to go slower or faster. You can't manage time. That's what trips most people over their own issues. But managing your relationship to time changes everything. Shifting your belief from I don't have enough time to time serves me is just one small example of that. But we also look at the fact that most people's relationship to time is dysfunctional, based upon the fact that they are chasing the wrong deal. In other words, let's say business owner comes to me and I need to learn time management because I'm so busy, I'm going stressed out of my mind. Pick any CEO on the planet. And most business coaches or business analysts will teach him time management because that'll help him manage his schedule, be more efficient, and squeeze a few more hours out of the day in his perception, which is always a lie. No, basically time management is part of the problem. If you get good at time management without fixing the belief systems you have around time, all you're doing is figuring out how to get more stuff on your plate. It doesn't fix the issue that you still see. Basically, it's a faster way to get stressed. So instead, if you start asking questions, you realize that this guy doesn't need time management. The reason he's got so much stuff on his plate is because his inability to delegate, because he's so scared of being able to let things go that he's micromanaging anything, and therefore he won't allow anybody else to take the reins at certain levels he should as a CEO of the business of this size. So what do? You work on his fears around letting go of control, or his ego around thinking he has to sign off on everything, including how many pencils the admin department buy that week. All right, so you work on that, and you don't need time management anymore because all of a sudden his calendar now halves. You get the idea. Talk about customer service. What is your greatest sales force? It's not your sales team. And I teach you how to hire a sales team for free that are world class. But no, your greatest sales force are your customers. What are you doing to specifically and strategically engineer your customers to allow them to go to bring you more business than you can handle in a way that they gladly will and work 24/7 without pay to be able to do it, or commission or referral fee. Yeah, there's a way to do that. Yeah, and that's just an example of a couple of different competencies there that we really deep dive into. So yeah, I'm really excited. That is the final one. It's on the 6th, 7th, and 8th of September in Poland. And you're going to be there. I'm going to be there. I've got some other incredible, mind-blowing guest speakers that I'm bringing in. It's 42 hours of content. And right now, for those interested, and I know it's a commitment because you've got flights and hotels and all the usual stuff there, but it's you go to petersage.com/SBS, Sage Business School. I don't know if Mike wants to put that in the chat. But yeah, petersage.com/SBS. And if anybody watching this does want an exceptional discount for 100, it's we're still on like 50% off ticket prices right now. So instead of the £1,000 I normally sell them at, they're at $495. You guys can get an extra 100 quid off because I love you. It's usually reserved only for the alumni. But if you put in the discount code alumni, it'll take another 100 quid off just for the infinite men and women that are on this call. However, there is something else. There is no substitute for being in the room, right? Proximity is power. Now, I've got Ryan Phillips and Jamie coming from the US, and these guys met at an event 12 months ago in internet marketing and have since made $500,000 between them just because of the synergy that came out of that relationship, being able to press flesh, shake hands, and be in the room. But I also know there's a lot of people here that can't suddenly book a flight, take 3 days out of their time, arrange hotels, which is why I can actually business school too. And so we open live stream. I've cut it to the cheapest I've ever done this on the planet. It's normally $295. I'm putting this out for $79. And that is the best way I can describe the live stream, guys, is this. Last time we ran the live stream, we had a couple that ran a financial services business from the Isle of Man. They couldn't make it, so they decided to do the live stream, but they were going to do it in the office on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they closed the office. They were going to renovate. They've been looking to renovate and spring clean and remodel for a while. They thought, what a great opportunity. We've got the live stream running and we're going to be doing this in the office. I get an email from them on the Monday morning saying, you son of a bitch, right? We arrived on Friday morning with our dusters and mops and remodeling stuff. We put the live stream on that we were going to sort of listen in the background and pop in and out of. By Sunday night, we hadn't picked up a duster. Now, they were glued to the screen for 3 days because I'm very interactive with the live stream. We engage. I'm on camera with you. You've got managers there that are interacting. You can type in your questions. I'm putting them. You've got the entire workbook to download, print out, and work through with me. It's almost as if you're there. You just don't get to have the engagement with the people. But for $79, it's a freaking no-brainer. And I'm doing that because I'm not doing this to make money. In fact, I'm actually minus 20 grand on the event costs right now, but I'm doing it because it's the last one I want to do for you guys. And I just want as many people as possible to get as much value as possible out of this because that's how we change the world. Kaboom.
Nice. Dude, that's so awesome. That's so good. I'm so excited. I just can't wait to be there. I'm super stoked. And $79, that's nothing. You're giving it away, Pete. You're insane. You're crazy.
£79 actually, but these days it's about... with Brexit, it's about the bloody same.
That's almost the same now. Yeah, I don't want. Let's not go down there.
Hey, well, actually, why don't we choose a little opportunity to demonstrate some value to the audience here with how most people are programmed about sleeping unconsciously? Because nobody's really talking about this. With this whole Brexit thing's been running for the last little while, and with all of the people that are on live with us right now, I just want to say this is a great way to be able to demonstrate some value because I don't do politics. Everybody knows I don't do politics, but here's something that'll give a parallel as to how you can avoid being programmed. And that is this. If you go to a doctor's, this is incontroversial now, way too much data behind this to support it. You go to a doctor's and you're depressed and he diagnoses you as depressed and he can write out a prescription.
The light's a lot better if you go back to where you were.
Thanks. There you go. Okay. And he can write out a prescription of one of 3 drugs that pretty much do the same thing, all different labeled from different drug companies, whether it's AstraZeneca, Pfizer, or whatever. And as a result of that, what happens? He can choose under the illusion of free will which one he wants to write. But at the same time, he's got a mug on his desk sent to him from a pharmaceutical company and a Post-it note and a pen, all with one particular brand on. Now, studies will show time after time that more often than not, over 2/3 of the time, he will write a prescription out of the illusion of free will for the one that he's been unconsciously programmed with through his visual cortex. With me so far, right? So when it comes to Brexit, what does Brexit actually stand for? It stands for British exit. Now, the UK press, when the vote was taken, it went 51-49. And if you really look at it, most people at the time didn't even freaking understand what Brexit was about. They didn't. If you'd have asked them to have an intelligent conversation, they really wouldn't know. 10% of the for people were knew their stuff. 10% of the against people knew their stuff. But 80% of people in the middle hadn't really got a clue, to be fair. It was all just not on their agenda or radar. They'd not been educated. So what were they constantly programmed with for all of that time? Brexit, 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 British exit, British exit, Brexit, British exit. When the vote came, 49-51, what was the needle swung to? People voted for Brexit, British exit. Now, if the UK press had called the campaign the UK stay campaign instead of Brexit, we wouldn't be having all of this palaver right now. Why? Because 80% of those people were programmed to an extent, or certainly more than 2% were programmed, shall we say, to be able to have that level of switch to say, oh, when it comes, I'm just going to press this button or put my X in this box. My question to you, politics aside, because I don't want to go back there, is how are you being programmed right now unconsciously that you're not aware of that gives you the illusion of making decisions on free will that you think you then owned that had nothing to do with you but were everything to do with somebody else's agenda that was then imposed upon where you were at? Make sense?
That's a big question, Mr. Peter Sage.
Nobody's talking about it. I'll tell you how most people are programmed. There's two ways that have the biggest impact on how people are programmed. One is the media. And if you're still watching the media, I know you don't. I know people that go to the Infinite Man Summit don't, or certainly shouldn't. Otherwise, you shouldn't sell them a ticket, or just basically flog them publicly when they arrive. Right? But yeah, if you are watching the news, you have absolutely no chance whatsoever of being in a default positive mindset long term. I'm sorry, it's just incontroversial. The stats don't lie. Don't even try to argue the case, because your conscious mind may think it can, but it's walking north over the back of an elephant, the unconscious that's walking south. Right? Don't kid yourself. Right? So that's just, it's like a smoker saying that I go to the gym, so therefore I'm healthy. Yeah, you can't smoke and be healthy. Deal with it. Right? So yeah, you've got that. So the media is one, and you can control that. The other one is your peer group. Who do you surround yourself with? Yeah, you become who you hang with. Show me your friends, show me your future, all of the stuff there. But it's worse than that now. The studies have come out from Harvard to show that it's not just the people you surround yourself with, it's the people they surround themselves with. If you're friends with somebody who's positive, that positive friend in the second circle has an 8% influence on you, even if you don't know them. Unbelievable. This is high-level research. This isn't like, let's smoke some weed and sit in the top above a chip shop and make shit up. No, this is proper stuff that's been done. So yeah, your peer group and the media are the two fastest ways that you can unprogram yourself or choose to reprogram yourself with new media, like high-quality podcasts, or listening to some stuff like, I don't know, maybe woke as fuck. Yeah, you get the idea. Or surrounding yourself with people who are coming from a place of how we can, not why we can't. Yeah, I've said it before. You hang around with 10 recreational drug users, high probability you're going to become the 11th. Hang around with 10 high-level people that look at life through possibility thinking and hold each other to a standard, become midwife to each other's dreams, and high possibility you're going to become the 11th. It's just the way it is. It's the law of conformity. You can't fight it.
Can't fight it. And that's one of the things people say to me they love the most about my events. It's like they're meeting all these high quality dudes that are about the love and sharing and growing. And it's just like, they say the event was amazing, but my two best friends, they were from the event. So literally that's the thing. And I can only imagine your event, it's going to be the same fucking thing. It's going to be these amazing human beings that are working on themselves. Yeah. Unbelievable. Your social circle is your reality. Totally. It affects your vibration as well, man. You're hanging out with high vibration people who are all about the love and healing and raising their consciousness. Guess what? You can't but fucking raise yourself up. It's inevitable. You could try and stay down. You wouldn't be able to do it. If you're try hanging out with an enlightened master who calibrates at 1,000 for a few weeks and see if it might affect you. Let's just see.
You won't be taking Prozac after that, I can tell you.
Definitely not. Holy shit, Pete. As always, you've I promise too much, but you underpromise, you overdeliver. I think we've definitely given some people some love and some juiciness to really think about some things that can actually change the nature of their reality. And it was just a little wee Skype hangout, Zoom hangout. That's all it was.
Yeah, man. We're living in a time in history where it's impossible not to find reasons to be grateful. And to be able to have this level of conversation, yeah, you're in Budapest. I'm going to hook you up with a good friend in Budapest, by the way, after this. He's cool. You're going to love him. You should hang out tonight. And he was at the last Sage Business School, changed his life. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to be in Los Angeles at the Infinite Man. You're going to be in the Sage Business School in Poland. And yeah, let's go give our gift and do what we do and embrace the level of growth that no doubt life will be presenting us to be able to graduate through as well.
Of course, man. It's so good. I've never been happier just working on myself, sharing everything I can with everybody else, and just all of us raising ourselves up. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, brother. I love you so much. You're such an amazing soul. I'm so happy to have met you, and it's such an honor to be your friend as well as, co-creator. And it's beautiful, man. I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks, and I'll be getting this out to as many people as I can, so some of the people can come and hang out with us in Poland as well.
Outstanding. Yeah, tune in. Yeah, if you just ask yourself the question, do I want the rest of my life to go off on a different vector of possibility and growth and challenge and fun and awesomeness, then you have to do something different. And there's no substitute for being in a room full of people that are being able to show you the way to be able to do that and hold your hand doing it rather than try to walk through a blind alley with a blindfold and bang your head against the wall. So anyone wants to come to Sage Business School, anyone wants to come to Infinite Man, you can't help but get an ROI on that that's 10x plus.
No, you can't. You can't. You really can't. I almost feel guilty at how low the prices are. And it's like, no, we want to help more people. Keep it affordable. But in my mind, I'm like, we could be charging 20 times this and it would still be a good deal. So get your early bird tickets. Cool, awesome. Brother. I love you so much. And I can't wait to see you very shortly.
Understood. I just want to say thank you to everybody that stayed on. There's over 30 people here at the minute on live. And guys, I appreciate your time. We don't take it lightly. It's the one commodity we can never get back. So yeah, the fact you were gracious enough to give it to Sasha and myself here today means a huge amount. So thank you. And remember, knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing. Go take one thing out of today, make action on it, and go be amazing. Love you guys.
Love you, brother. See you soon. Peace out.
We're all here because we want some kind of transformation from where we're at to where we want to get to.
So you want to be a lover of life? Start with yourself.
Every time that I've done something new, a new opportunity has opened up in front of me.
The relationship you have with yourself is absolutely everything.
A lot of things might have been out of control in your life, and things might have been done to you and might have happened to you, but you still have the ability to respond to that, to make a different decision, to change the direction of your life.
I have made a number of breakthroughs. There are so many cool speakers of all kinds of things, all in one room, and the energy at the event is phenomenal. You've got to be there in person to feel it.
It was like the best thing in my life.
Sasha's created something really magical here, and I'm so glad that I came.